Battlefield 3 came out nearly a decade ago, almost 10 years. That's absolutely incredible for a game to be that old and still be pretty popular on social media, on YouTube, and of course when people are playing the game. Servers are quite full, more so now because of this epidemic and people having to stay home, but again, it's been popular for nearly the past decade. One of the best Battlefields, if not the best Battlefield ever made. And to be honest, Battlefield 3 has been considered as a game that was groundbreaking and for the time, absolutely incredible. It's a game that I play a lot myself as well. To be honest, Battlefield 4 is the game I prefer, but BF3, a game, I go back to every so often, play for a couple of weeks and really enjoy my time. More recently, it has been a little bit more than just a couple of weeks. I've been playing it every single day. Mostly infantry, enjoying a little bit of vehicles, and for the most part, Gunmaster, TDM, or Domination. I think the infantry in this game is incredibly addictive. There's a lot that could be improved in it, and even for a game 10 years ago there were some problems with Battlefield 3. I have more fun playing BF3 though than I do with Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, and there are some reasons for that. In this video I'm going to spend about 5 minutes talking about why you should buy Battlefield 3, and then another 5 minutes as to maybe why you shouldn't. And there are of course some things with Battlefield 3 that definitely aren't perfect. It would be unfair for me to just say the game was magnificent and look through these rose-tinted spectacles and just say there's nothing wrong with it, because yes, there's plenty wrong with it. There's plenty wrong with all Battlefield games. Long story short though, if you play on PC, definitely get Battlefield 3, you will not regret it. So about 5 minutes of reasons why you should buy BF3. First of all, it's dirt cheap. It is so cheap to buy. I've alluded to this in previous videos. Whenever I play BF3, I suggest if you've got a couple of quid lying around and a few spare hours, and you play on PC, of course you can't really get it on Xbox One and PS4 as far as I'm aware, get hold of it and just enjoy it. Just play it for 5-10 minutes, see if you like it, and if you do, then that's money well spent. You could be spending thousands of hours playing Battlefield 3. Secondly, you can get the DLCs cheaply and servers are full. Yes, you might find it difficult to find exactly what you want to play, but for me, I love Gunmaster, and I can find Gunmaster servers whenever I log in. If you like Conquest, of course you'll find Conquest servers and Rush. There are tons of Rush servers running the whole time. As I said, it can be difficult on older games to find exactly what you want to play, but for the most part, the servers are there. Another reason you should play Battlefield 3 is to get a good understanding of where the franchise once was. To think that this game came out in 2011 is quite overwhelming, really. The franchise certainly has moved forward in some aspects. Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 are far ahead of Battlefield 3 in some ways, but you'd expect them to be because they were made far more recently. Battlefield 3 at the time was groundbreaking. It still is in many ways. It looks superb. It looks visually, if you were to just take a snapshot, like a game that came out today. Sure, some textures aren't quite up to date, but overall, the whole aesthetic of the game is perfect. Another thing many people forget with Battlefield 3 is how many weapons, modes, and different aspects to the game there are. It won't just take you 5 minutes to level things up. You can invest a lot of time into this game to try and improve yourself and also unlock things. Customization is great, but it also keeps a lot of things very simple. You can just jump on and start playing straight away. You don't need to spend ages trying to learn all the different bits and pieces, but there's a lot of depth there, which is really difficult to achieve in an FPS game. I'd say the final reason you should try Battlefield 3 is the addiction level of BF3. Many people have played thousands and thousands of hours of Battlefield 3. There's a reason for that. Battlefield 4 came out, many people didn't even move over to it, they stayed with BF3. The reason is it's just this weird kind of repetitive nature of spawning in, getting some kills, which is incredibly satisfying. You end up getting taken down and you just want to instantly spawn back in. I'm not sure how they managed to make it work, but your frustration levels kind of grow and get larger and larger as maybe you die around a corner, and we'll get into some of the problems in a second, but then you instantly want to spawn back in and just experience that feeling of taking some players down. The whole thing about Battlefield 3 is that kind of repetitive nature and then all of the different aspects of the game, and before you know it, you've spent 3 or 4 hours playing on a server. It's absolutely amazing. So, 5 minutes or so have gone past, and that's me talking about why you should get the game. To be honest, you should already be sold just by a bit of the gameplay. Now though, a few things that maybe aren't so good that you can expect if you were to log in today. Firstly, yes, there is a big issue with servers. There always has been in Battlefield 3. It's a 10 Hz tick rate as far as I'm aware, which is really poor. This means you will be dying around corners quite a lot, as if somebody's lagging, that sort of experience you may have had in other games. Plus, hit reg is hit or miss. If this was being played on a 60 Hz server, as I've played in the past on Venice Unleashed, you would be killing people virtually as quick as Battlefield 4 Hardcore. That's how fast the TTK is, I think. That being said, because not all your bullets connect, it kind of gives you a slightly different impression of the TTK. You can get around it, but it definitely is a frustration point. Next up, the modes. I did say earlier you could play every mode you wanted to, Gunmaster, Conquest, Domination, whatever it is. Some though, as you'll often find with any game with custom servers, can be really, really rubbish. I'm talking 64 player Rush on Grand Bazaar with no sort of rules. You can just spam explosives. It's not enjoyable for me. Might be for you, but not for me. This renders a lot of servers completely useless for me. I don't play on a lot of them because the rule set just isn't what I'd put personally if it was my server, and it doesn't get the best out of the game. Another problem is kind of something with all Battlefield games. I did make a post about this on Twitter. Badmins. There are a lot of badmins in BF3. If you are a really good player, you will probably get banned from a lot of the servers. I'm an average player and I get banned from servers, so I can imagine if you play maybe a 3KD or above as an infantry player, you might not have that much luck on some of the servers in the game. There are a few domination servers you get banned from virtually immediately, and Gunmaster servers where the admins just ban you as well. Still fun if you can find a server, but it can be tricky. Something else that people seem to forget about in Battlefield 3 is the vehicle spam. There are some major problems with vehicles in BF3. They're really, really fun, and they're really, really good. If you play in them, you'll enjoy them, no doubt about it. But say for example you spawn in on a game of Rush where there's an attack helicopter. That attack heli will be at the back of the map, it will be spamming the MCOMs, and it just won't be very fun. Sure, if you have a good attack heli pilot on your team, or a jet pilot or whatever, it will be okay. But if you don't, it will kind of be the same sort of experience you get in any Battlefield game where you just die, rinse, repeat, you end up losing, and it's not very fun. One more thing that does annoy me in BF3, it's not a complaint about the game, it's just the nature of a game that is this old. You will find a lot of 2,000 to 3,000 hour players in the game who haven't really stopped playing since it came out. They just play all the time. That can be quite daunting for a new player to come into. The only way around this, I would suggest playing any sort of TDM servers, Gunmaster servers, servers where you're going to get a lot of action very quickly so you can get to grips with the game, practice with your accuracy and map knowledge, and then start to build up from there. If you jump straight into a Conquest server full of tryhards or a Rush server full of tryhards, I can't imagine you'll have as much fun, and you might be put off. That being said, I'd say it's probably around 70% good in BF3, 30% bad. The 30% bad as well is usually the same stuff, so it's not like BF5 where there's tons of bugs. BF3 there are only a few annoying things that just happen quite a lot. I think most people that play BF3 will also back me up and agree that there's definitely a lot of fun to be had in this game if you just download it and play it, and it's very cheap. There's a link in the description to pick up the game very cheaply as well. You can find it on Origin or any of these key sites. It's just get it and play it. You won't regret it, I guarantee. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this little video, giving people a bit of information as to whether you should indeed buy Battlefield 3 in 2020, nearly 10 years after it was brought out. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and feel free to leave a dislike if you didn't, and I'll catch you in the next video.